Hey guys, welcome back to Coding with Storm. So I had a few suggestions on my Discord server, which you should join by the way if you haven't already. The link will be in the description. But I've had a lot of requests on extension methods and what they are and how you use them. So an extension method is basically just a method that you extend to an already existing um, object. To demonstrate this, I'll just create a new folder and call it extensions. There you go. Let's create a new class in here and let's call that server extensions. So that will be our class for server extensions. We'll start out by making that public, and we want to of course, we want to declare that we are using Discord and we are using Discord commands. There we go. So for the server extension, what I've noticed with Discord is that if you give someone a nickname, that's their display name, which will be what you write when you want to use them in a command of some kind. But if you try to compare their nickname with their name in the code, it will throw an exception by not finding the user. So we can get around that by making a extension method. So to do that, we want to create a public static user because we want to find a user. We'll call the method safeGetUser. Now, the difference about a normal method and an extension method is that you want to use the this keyword. So we want to use a this server because we want to apply this extension method to the server object. We'll just call that S. And we want, of course, the name of the guy we want to get the user object of. So let's create a quick variable for user by nickname equals server.users.where input nickname equals to name, first or default. So the difference between first and first or default is that the first or default will select either the first object in the list or null if the list doesn't contain anything that lives up to these conditions. If you just type first like this, it will assume that there is a object that matches the conditions, and if there's not, it will throw an exception. So for this, we're going to go with first to default. We could actually optimize it by putting the first to default here and removing that. Looks a bit cleaner. All right, so it will select either the first user where the nickname equals to what we give the method, or null if it doesn't exist. So if user by nickname is not null, it is equals null, we want to grab the user by name, just as we did before. First or default input dot name equals name. If user by name equals null, return null. We could actually just say return user by name because that might be null. And here we want to return user by nickname. All right, so let's go through this very quick. Of course, we want to make this class static as well because it has to be when it's an extension method. So it will try to find a user by the nickname supplied. So if it's a nickname, it will find the user here. If it's not finding anything by that name, it will try by the regular name and return that, which is either null or the actual user. If it's not null, it will just return the user found by the nickname. So that's an extension method right there. So how do we use this extension method? I will show you. So we've created this object extension, to the server object. So let's go anywhere here. Award user tokens. So there's a server object right there. So if we delete defined users, we can do save get user. Now we of course have to say using my awesome Discord bot.extensions because we need to tell it that this is the class to use. Now that will take just a name. Now why would it take just a name? We gave it 2 parameters. It already has a server object here. We told it that this will extend to the server object, so it already knows what the server is. We'll just go with username like that. So that will apply by extending a method to an object. You will be able to use that method on an existing object. So that's pretty much the basics of extension methods. Let's go ahead and add one more just for fun. Let's call this user extensions. You can create more in each class, by the way. You don't have to create a new class every time, but this extension method we're going to create now is used for the user object. So I'll create a new class. So using Discord discord.commands. There you go. So we want to make this a public static class of user extension, and we want to make a public static string. Let's just say get display name. Again, we want to use this keyword because we're extending it to an already existing object, and that would be a user object. And we'll just call that user in this method. So the display name will always be the nickname if there is a nickname. We know that. So let's say if user.nickname is not null and user.nickname does not equal to string empty, return user nickname. If, oh well, let's just do an else. That's probably better. Return user name. There you go. So we can apply that method straight to a user object that already exists. So let's go back to the Discord bot and find a user somewhere. User right there. So we'll just add a new line here. We won't be needing this line, but we'll just do this for the sake of demonstration. So we'll say var user display name equals user get display name. There you go. Easy as that. So extension methods are a really great way to have clean code everywhere and kind of collect your code in a single location, so you don't have to write that piece of code every time you must get a display name. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you haven't already joined my Discord server, you really should. It's getting quite popular and we're having fun in there. So I'll leave a link in the description below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.